Live on SportsGrid, I'm Kevin Walsh. This is Pro Football Today on a Sunday morning. Donnie Rightside and Joe Lisi here. And we got a lot of big teams at the top of the NFC laying some big numbers here. Even the Niners on the road, well over a field goal. Of the top four, Niners, Eagles, Lions, and Cowboys, 3 in action today. Philly tomorrow night, which we'll be live for, against the Atlanta Falcons. I think it's important to start at the top of this conference, though, because according to a lot of people, the Niners' most valuable player is now out for the next 4 games, and who knows when he's going to be back beyond that. Again, we'll talk to Doc. We got a lot of big things there with Doc today. The Niners, hardly any movement. So, again, in one hand, I have to listen to McCaffrey's the most valuable player over Brock Purdy. And on the other hand, the Niners are fine because he's a running back here, Donnie. Let's just key in on this. The gap between San Fran, who is half the number of anybody else in this conference, is that correct or is that wrong?
It's hard to say because they were what's clouding our vision, I guess you could say, Kevin, is the week 1 win. And it's like, okay, McCaffrey's not there. They smoked the Jets, who many think will be a playoff team in the AFC and chance for maybe win the AFC East. That's what we're worried about. But also, we can't understand the fact, and I understand people say, hey, look, running backs don't matter. You can interchange them. And quite frankly, it's not a great argument for me based on week number 1 of what Jordan Mason came in to do and say, well, I don't even know if McCaffrey could do any better. But the one thing we do know is you've watched Christian McCaffrey in that offense for basically the last 2 years. He has been absolutely phenomenal, particularly in the passing game. You're telling me that elite wide receiver crew and also tight end, and then McCaffrey swinging out into the backfield for passes left and right, 4 to 5 yards, where he can probably take it the distance. That's what I'm trying to weigh in on. But make no mistake about it. The 49ers aren't just, hey, no big deal, Christian McCaffrey's going to be out for 5 weeks. That will be a big deal, and it's probably going to come up tonight. Understand this. The New York Jets probably didn't know that Christian McCaffrey was going to be out. So what did they do, Joe? They said, you know what, make sure these packages where the running backs are in, we have different defenses called, and it's sort of hard to adjust sometimes on the fly. Mason was fantastic. I doubt he is going to be 100 to what, plus 130 each and every week on the ground. That's not happening. Today, we'll find out. But for me, they're not a better football team with McCaffrey. They need him, Joe, if they want to win.
Oh, absolutely, in regards to big picture, right? NFC Championship, Super Bowl, you need Christian McCaffrey in regards to that lineup. Short term, in regards to grinding out wins and getting wins on the road like they're going to have to do today against Minnesota, I think they could utilize Jordan Mason and still be fine and still potentially cover this number. Now, I will say this game last year was one of the games where they lost to Kirk Cousins, right? He had a big performance. Would he complete 35 of 40 for over 300 yards in regards to that? And that was the game Brock Purdy got hurt and dinged up in. They're going to need the rushing attack today. They're going up against a quarterback they know well. Sam Darnold went up against that secondary. So I still give the edge defensively to San Francisco in this matchup. I would lay the 4.5, even though they're on the road, and I do feel that Darnold maybe resorts to some turnover.
For my thing with the big picture end of it for the San Francisco 49ers and why I'm going to, for now at least, stay cautious on this team, bearish on this team, is even at the end of the game, Trent Williams starts limping off. Like, I know he's fine. I know he's playing today. I do not believe in that offensive line one bit if Trent Williams is not there. And then you would compound that with the fact that McCaffrey is just not ready to go. They absolutely handled their business against the Jets. And I think it's very on the board, if not correct, that they are the best team in the conference.
Yeah.
I don't think they're this much better than everybody else in the conference the way they were lined last year. Detroit is plus 550. Dallas is 7-1. The Cowboys got off to a great start in week number 1. But some of this is going to be interesting as we try and look back to what are the Cleveland Browns, right? At the end of the day, you beat a team on the road by 16. That's great. Yeah. Dallas shutting the offense down in that game. Dak did nothing in the second half. It muddies it a little bit because I don't know if that was game's over, shut it down, or if Cleveland started to get to them a little bit here. Donnie, when you see Dallas at 7-1, because again, we talk about the gap for the Niners, is Dallas too far back from this pack of the top 4?
No, they are, because you're going to see the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night go up against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons, week number 1, we didn't like them. If the Falcons go 0-2, that certainly helps the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC. If the Eagles drop to 1-1, that really helps them, because then we're thinking if the Cowboys can win today, they're 2-0, the Eagles will be 1-1. You get the point here. But I agree with you in this aspect. Dallas probably should be around that 6-1, 5-1 number. But also last week, Mike McCarthy, I hate to give him credit. I really do. But also, let's just take a look at the Titans. If they had the same mindset as Dallas, we don't think this offense can score. let's just be conservative, let's pick up the chains, let's run some clock, and let's punt, they would have won their football game. Mike McCarthy, we didn't have to say on Monday morning, that guy's a bozo, man. You had that game won, and Dak's out here throwing 35-plus times in the second half for no reason because they wanted to get their offense underway. I like the way they coached it last week. I'm not taking anything away from the Dallas Cowboys. They smoked Cleveland, and they did it perfectly for me.
And we have no concerns about Dallas in the regular season. We have concerns about Dallas and Dak in regards to a playoff type of environment. I want to go back to San Francisco for 1 second because you were a big backer of Brock Purdy in regards to the MVP last year, right? Now with Christian McCaffrey out, and you don't think that Jordan Mason could be that guy, and knowing how their offense looked inconsistent, if they go on a heater, is this an opportunity for Brock Purdy to emerge, not just in regards to this team, but MVP, big picture, to take it over? Oh, now he's the guy. Christian McCaffrey's not here. Ayuk's not stepping up. Brock Purdy's putting up 250 with Debo in the backfield and George Kittle. Is this an opportunity for Brock Purdy to separate himself?
My thing with that is, and it's like you accidentally bringing up sore subjects, but last year's MVP, the whole thing just really annoyed me. He was going to win the award last year. Like, even if by the time we got to the playoffs, it was all of a sudden McCaffrey's award, right? Brock was going to win it if they just beat the Ravens on Christmas. And then they lost, and then it was Lamar's award because the defense shut down Brock Purdy. If you look at that race right now, the reason I didn't bet an MVP preseason. Yeah. I didn't. I didn't think anything was worth it. I guess my point is, Joe, Brock will win MVP if they win 13, 14 games and they don't lose to some great team at the very end of the season. Yes, he doesn't have to worry about McCaffrey, but last year, despite McCaffrey winning Offensive Player of the Year, McCaffrey wasn't going to catch him in the regular season race. It was the playoff race, and that was back when I was begging you both to agree with me that Brock should win Super Bowl MVP, which you both were correct about. They were going to end up giving it to McCaffrey. I don't think Purdy's MVP chances, if anything, McCaffrey being hurts his chances because all Purdy has to do to win MVP is win football games, like every other quarterback. That's how they're giving this award out nowadays.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying it's an opportunity for the passing game to take over during this stretch. We know they want to run the football, and they certainly wanted to do that in Game 1, where they felt like they had an advantage. But now on the road, I mean, this is
what you said about Dallas. What you said about Dallas, right? They don't have to prove themselves in the regular season. What do the Niners have to do in the regular season? I mean, really. Is there any? If this team, unless they go unbeaten, what is this team going to do? We know the score. I mean, they roll teams, they smash teams. I think they can only disappoint. I think it's the same thing with Dallas. I think they can only disappoint in the regular season. Dallas can go 13-4. They can give Dak the MVP, and when that playoff game rolls around, people will be lining up to take him out.
Well, then perception would be Detroit then is that team then all of a sudden because they have something to play for. They dominate a very good team in regards to Matt Stafford in L.A. on Sunday night. They cover again today against another playoff team and divisional opponent Tampa Bay. You would say they're the most complete team then maybe in the regular season out of the three.
For me, I'm still on the Eagles. I loved what I saw in week number 1. Everybody was killing Hurts. He made some bad. I don't understand. Like people dislike Hurts. So all of a sudden now, like the fumbles from the center are his fault, which is just not how that works whatsoever. He still made great throws. I know A.J. Brown's banged up, but big picture, the most important thing for the Eagles, Donnie, is the secondary. I thought Quinyon Mitchell looked great. Green Bay has explosive players. I liked what I saw from the defense.
Yeah, and again, it was hard to grade. I think their pass rush would be much better because you'll be able to get traction. Quick point, by the way, on San Francisco with the MVP award for Brock Purdy. That's a stat award. He didn't throw any touchdown passes opening night, so he's going to have to put, along with the wins, you better be throwing 35-plus teeters.
Although, unless apparently all quarterbacks are broken because nobody threw a passing touchdown.
Come on, we need that this week.
All right, let's hit some of these big games here. Lions got a big one against Tampa Bay. We'll start there next. Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in
on the biggest games each night, I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week-to-week-to-week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was but he had that program was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this.
We have a playoff rematch on today's slate with Tampa Bay and Detroit. The Lions at home host the Bucs on a climbing line. 6.5s, hit 7, through that number, 7.5s. We've seen 8s this morning on Detroit. A Lions team who I faded on Sunday night last week and took it on the chin in overtime. Still a little upset about that one, but nevertheless, it's not stopped people from getting to the window again here on Detroit. DRS, a playoff rematch. Last year's game, 31-23, was that final score. The Lions won and advanced to the NFC Championship game. What do you expect here, a pair of 1-0 teams?
I got to tell you, like when we talk about Babe Ruth way back in the day, like, wait a second, he hit 30 home runs, the rest of the league hit 3. It felt like that was what happened last week with touchdown passes. Like Baker carried the NFL with 4 touchdown passes, looking completely competent. And I think that happens again in the Dome. But here's the issue we have. You know, when we say like odds in motion, Kevin, what's on the move? This is surprising because you figured this line was going to be 4.5s, 5.5s, get around 6. Okay, and that money would come back on Tampa Bay. For them to actually blow through, Kevin, that number, 6.5s to 7.5s, we're also asking ourselves on this panel going, did we miss something? Is Baker Mayfield sick? They're going to come out with the report at 11:30. We're going to know what's up because the one thing we do know is Tampa Bay's defense comes in a little bit questionable. Last week, banged up on the defensive line. This week, extremely banged up in the secondary. The last thing you want to have happen to you, Joe, here, when you're going to take on the Detroit Lions. So I can see why they are the favorites here. But the 7.5s, are they baiting us just to take Detroit at this point? Because, quite frankly, I don't want to lay over a touchdown in this game.
Me neither, and I would take the points reluctantly in regards to this matchup. Like, I like Tampa Bay. I don't love it anymore in regards to seeing some 8s pop up earlier this morning because I'm with Donnie as well. What don't we know in regards to this matchup? Is it perception that Detroit now is the best team in the NFC? They get the win in the cover over L.A. on Sunday night, and now this is a team that they dominated last year? I don't know, but I would take the points still with Tampa Bay. I believe in Baker Mayfield, 289 and 4 touchdowns last week. Mike Evans last year in the divisional game stepped up with a huge performance as well. His number today, 68.5. I think he can meet in regards to that matchup. Keep an eye out for Rachaad White. Had a pretty good game last week in regards to the screen game. I think they utilized that as well. If we're looking Detroit, though, Kev, I think it's a breakout performance in regards to Jahmyr Gibbs in regards to the screen game. 23.5 is his number today. I think he could get potentially 40 or 50 in that regard. Don't like his rushing as much. I look to Jahmyr Gibbs on the ground as well over Montgomery.
Yeah, I would prefer Gibbs as well, just because I think that this is a game where the Lions should be looking to throw the football a lot more. Vita Vea is still on the inside there. Tough injury report for Tampa Bay, which is, I think, the primary reason this numbers continue to shift. Most notably, their best player on defense, Antoine Winfield, will be out here. You expect deep shots to Jameson Williams, and then all of a sudden, here comes Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was very quiet in week number 1. But I'm on Tampa Bay plus 7.5. It's funny that the 8s popped. Last year in the playoff game, they trail by 14, score a touchdown, and go for 2. Kind of the new school analytic approach, which is fun last year if you had Tampa Bay because it was 6.5. You needed that decision even if they didn't get it. That's how they lost by 8. This year, if we're looking to get into a backdoor and they go for 2, it could still potentially be some work to be done. But I don't think – I look at week number 1, and this is a spot where I think Detroit's getting too much credit for a comeback win in overtime, and I don't think the Bucs are getting enough credit for pouring it on Washington. Look, the defense is bad. The offense is an absolute joke. But for Tampa Bay, this is a team that was in the playoffs last year, catching 6.5. I think year over year, with the continuity, Baker looks comfortable. I think this spread is disrespectful to the Bucs here. That's the sign that I'm looking at. Now, we talk about week 1 stunners, man. And what the Saints did to Carolina, I mean, they 47-10 is nuts, no doubt. I'm in on New Orleans to win the South. In some respects, it was almost too dominant, right? Where the highs comes with the lows. They're catching 6.5 in Dallas, though, which with Dak and Mike McCarthy, they know how to roll teams in this building, Donnie. Total 46.5. What do you see here with Dallas and New Orleans?
This is my favorite game of the week to look at and say anything could happen. And it's not really a cop-out at that point because I think you're right, Kevin. Maybe you would have had a different outlook even on the Saints if they would have won last week 21-10 over Carolina. Okay, it's about what we thought. Offense will just get the job done. Defense steps up because I know you're high on the Saints defense this offseason. But for me, it's a question of, did we really see the real Saints? Now, granted, they're not going to score 50 points every week, but also, this was a game number 1 where you didn't know how much you were going to play your starters in the preseason. You show up and you roll a team by 5 touchdowns. I didn't see that coming. And I know Carolina is a bad football team. I liked what I saw out of Carr. I liked what I saw of the wide receivers. The defense stepped up, but also, you saw the Dallas Cowboys on the road last week in a really tough spot. Say what you want about the Cleveland squad. They are very good on defense. They were at home, and they were healthy, primarily entering into that football game outside of Nick Chubb. Took them apart. Played great defense, great special teams, and that works. And Kevin is right on his point. Good luck taking Dallas at home, saying, I think the other team can cover. Dallas, sometimes, by the time I get into my car, 7-0. By the time it's halftime, it's 21-3 at home. They're rolling. And all I'm saying is, oh, no, Dak only has 1 touchdown pass. I wonder if they'll throw the ball in the second half for 2 touchdowns. For me, this line and reading into it, that's 6.5, that's big. We saw the 6.5 in the game we just talked about blow through to 7.5. It's like, wow, Tampa Bay is getting a lot of points. I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans. Look at that spread, Joe. Week number 1, they look so good. They can hang around Dallas and beat them. I hear you on that. But home teams here in this environment with the Dallas Cowboys, the way they played last week, energy in that building, I think Dallas wins this by a touchdown. I do.
I think they win it by double digits. I think it is the defense. You have opportunistic defenses on both units, right? Saints forced turnovers against Bryce Young. We know what Dallas did against Deshaun Watson. But Dak is dominant, and Dallas is a dominant home team. I think that matters. Again, I was impressed in regards to New Orleans offense, with the exception in regards, they get the chunk play to start, they jump up 7-0. That was something they could move the football between the 30s and struggled in red zone opportunities. They seem to fix that with Taysom Hill and Derek Carr, 3 touchdowns last week. Can that continue on the road? Again, defensive-minded head coach. He knows he's got potentially a top 10 unit. Let's try to get this into the fourth quarter, and I think that's where they get hurt. I like Dallas, but keep an eye out for Taysom Hill. 15.5 receiving yards today. That could be a big number, plus 210 to hit pay dirt.
Kevin, I know you love CeeDee Lamb, by the way, this week. Marshawn Lattimore, keep an eye on that 11:30 report coming out. We don't think he's probably going to play today. That is a massive advantage to the Dallas Cowboys passing game if he doesn't show up today.
Yeah, I'll have a number of chances to talk about the fact that I think CeeDee Lamb is in line for a monster CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, wow, he got paid? He's going to perform well?
Wow. I would look under in this game. I like the Saints defense more than most. Dallas's defense here could put that offensive line some at 47. I think the under's a good look. We're right back here. Quick break at SportsGrid.
I'm not going to talk about it.
No, it ended up working out because we didn't have enough time to get to it, the game. So it worked out good. Excellent work.
Now, my question is going to be when Kavanaugh.
There is going to be an energy to game time decision that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions.
How do we feel about Pete, though?
I do love
on
Sports,
Sports,
but honestly, I hate the fucking Commanders. Cliff Kingsbury's
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy.
So
I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air. 40 touchdowns,
Lamar,
4
Lisi, can you use this on? Like we're going to drill
Kingsbury's
this.
offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Lamar, Anthony Richardson, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels.
On SportsGrid.
Okay, so we have to buy or sell.
So maybe I'll just do it where of that four, who's the quarterback you're buying, what quarterback you're selling.
To be on SportsGrid.
And you could do it for today's games or even big picture.
Who's the four quarterbacks?
Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Richardson, Lamar.
Well, why don't you, here's what you can make it easier. Why don't you just add, I know, but add 2 more quarterbacks, because it will be quicker. Add 2 more veterans, so you have a veteran, and you have rookies separate. Just makes it easier.
My only thing is, well, maybe I'll put Lamar and Richardson together.
Because it's hard, you know what I mean? If you had, if you had 2 rookies, 2 vets, buy or sell in this veteran, buy or sell in this rookie. It's just easy to stay on top of it.
Briefly, and then had to be parted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee. Of that being just a burst.
Wait a second. I've gone long.
As per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL.
I know. I feel now you got me cognizant. I don't get talking in on Saturday.
Anybody that loves people that talk long, so I can just relax. Come on,
All right, back right here, Pro Football Today. A little quarterback buy or sell as we try and see if there's some guys that we want to get in on and potentially maybe we need to stay away from. I'll start with a pair of rookie quarterbacks who had very interesting opening weeks to their NFL careers with Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. And to some degree, Jaden Daniels gave you what you expected, a whole lot of rushing and 2 rushing scores. That's where he made his name, I think, more than anything at the college level, his athletic ability. I know both of you very, very excited about that. Bo Nix, on the other hand, as somebody who bet into some of his season-long numbers, the attempts couldn't be any better. Everything else was a disaster. I mean, Cortland Sutton had 12 targets, and it was less than 40 yards. I still can't believe the way that box score reads. Buy or sell, when we look at Nix, Jaden Daniels, if you had to pick, Donnie, what would you say?
If we're looking at just today, I don't know how anybody's buying Bo Nix against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster because you know what's going to happen with Mike Tomlin. He's going to roll in there with Justin Fields and say, we'll use that same exact game plan we had last week against Atlanta. We'll put pressure on that pocket. We'll collapse it. And we'll make a young rookie quarterback make a mistake. That was Kirk Cousins. They did it to last week. Now they got a rookie. Jaden Daniels going up against the Giants defense, so I tell you, couple defensive linemen. Outside of that, absolutely nothing. You like the fact that Jaden Daniels went on the road last week and said, okay, maybe I got to throw it a little bit more. Terry McLaurin, let's bring it back in. But this is a game where he's going in and saying, you know what? I think we're the better football team right off the bat, and I'm at home. I got my 1 start under my belt. I should be able to make plays. One guy in Jaden Daniels will make plays. Bo Nix today, he might be making plays to the other team today.
Yeah, absolutely. And to Donnie's point in regards to why I like Jaden Daniels in this matchup over Bo Nix, 3rd down conversions. They held Kirk Cousins 2 of 9 on 3rd downs last week in Atlanta. You look at the conversion rate for Denver on the road last week, it was less than 30%. You're not going to be able to win against Pittsburgh going up against that and converting less than 30% of your 3rd down type of situation. So Jaden Daniels, to me, I know he did it on the ground in regards to the second half, and he scored a couple of touchdowns. I think he does it through the air because you look at the success that Sam Darnold had with Justin Jefferson and those wide receivers. I think McLaurin has a big day today. He's plus 210, 230 in that area to score a touchdown. And Jaden Daniels' numbers like 195.5, 197 in that area. I altered him up today, Kev, to 225 plus. I actually think he breaks out at home with Kingsbury, a better play caller than what he has right now in regards to Denver?
Of the options on the board, I would sell Jaden Daniels as a passer. I legitimately
we always get to this.
Listen. I'm telling you right now.
Jersey around
at some point in this season, you're going to turn on Cliff Kingsbury, because what you believe Jaden Daniels is capable of, either Cliff Kingsbury disagrees, or more likely, really should not be coaching football at really any reasonable level. All of these quarterbacks that he's had, Caleb, Mahomes, Kyler, they have these numbers underneath. And you go, what's this? He was the offensive coordinator at USC last year. They were a disaster, all in all. Last week, yards per completion, right? The running backs, Eckler 13 yards, Brian Robinson 16.3. Terry McLaurin 8.5 per catch. Per catch. It's screens. Everything is behind the line of scrimmage. They came out hot with a negative 15-yard passing play. Because they are throwing. I'm telling you this, the offense that you want is not the offense he draws up.
I disagree, but I'll just say this. In regards to the performance last week, it's his first start. It's on the road. It's against an above-average defense with a defensive-minded head coach.
I don't think that defense is that great.
Okay, but they're above average. And a defensive game planner in Todd Bowles that, again, Super Bowl champ, right? So they're slowly working them in. What's the expectation in Washington? Nobody believes they're going to challenge for a division title. I mean,
dark
again,
horse for a lot of people.
Okay, maybe with a 6.5, 7 win total. I just don't see it. Again, I think you want to get Jaden Daniels acclimated into the scheme and system, have him progress from the start of the year to the end of the year, and have him ready, more importantly, for 2025. I think he breaks out to more pressure on Jaden Daniels making his first career start at home, or Daniel Jones that might not be the quarterback of the New York Giants.
No pressure on Daniel Jones. He's garbage. He's terrible. He doesn't belong on that roster. There's no pressure. It's done. It's done. What pressure is there on Daniel Jones? Who cares? I mean, really, what are we even talking about here? We can handle that right now.
Somebody better sell me something, Daniel Jones. You never know.
No,
Somebody might sell you something on the guy.
Listen, and I get it, and we'll get there.
Slashing prices, they're insane.
but seriously, that guy's terrible. He's absolutely atrocious. Can you believe they gave him that contract? Completely bit against themselves, accomplished nothing in his career value if you were paying any attention. He's atrocious.
Yeah, he was the reason, though, why all these quarterbacks are getting $50 and $60 million because they're like,
that was the baseline, 40. Yeah,
unbelievable.
That was the baseline.
Let's talk about Anthony Richardson, Lamar Jackson. Some big games for those teams today. We'll break it down with you right here. It's Pro Football Today. Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
What do you have that program was already going there?
Only on SportsGrid.
We love you right here on SportsGrid. Some inactives dropping as well, and one got an audible reaction out of me because Jack Conklin now joins Jedrick Willis in being out. He played last week, Conklin. Not that he was effective, but you're now down double tackles again. Jacksonville has Josh Hines-Allen, your man, and also dealing with Travon Walker, who they're hoping can break out. Just from Johnny, because I know you said the key numbers are out here. That's what stands out to me is add Conklin to the Jedrick Willis situation.
And this is why we get back to full panic mode on this team, right? You're looking at a situation where it's about to be a raging inferno. They go 0-2, their quarterback doesn't look good. But also, how do you expect your quarterback to look good anyway if your offensive line stinks? And you're right about that. The one thing Jacksonville can do is get after the pass rusher. They will do that today. I like Jacksonville today, but also, that's not a good sign because as I like to say too, Kevin, it's not Madden. Oh, okay, Conklin's not going to play. What happens if their other tackle goes down while he's in the game? And then you're leaning on like a random backup guard or a guy you just picked up off of the scrap heap.
So does that then lead into the rush and the passing attack for Cleveland if they can't run the football? I mean, I think that's a bigger question when you look at Deshaun Watson's passing total.
I would think opposite, though. Like, it's probably easier to run the football as opposed to, hey, Deshaun, you were terrible last week. Get out here with a worse offensive line.
Thinking maybe more tempo? I don't know. Now I'm twisted. I'm twisted.
No, that's the opposite.
I'm twisted.
Now we're going like this. This is what we're doing out there.
Because, again, I mean, all right, wait a second.
You want to take a guess what he's on today?
Yeah. I like this. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait a second. No, I'm just saying, when you run tempo, you have the ability to wear down an opposing defensive front. You do. You do. Why do you think teams do that in terms of you're not going to generate a pass rush?
Tackles are dead in the water. You know what I would do?
All right, so you know what? Run it 80 times and lose the game 6-3. I mean, come on.
That's a cover.
Come on. It's a cover. Come on.
Let's hit a little Lamar, Anthony Richardson, some Colts, Packers, and some Ravens, Raiders here. And we had Lamar last week, Donnie, run for 122 on the ground. Now, it was a different game script than what's projected today here. Tell me what you think about this game, but also I want to know what your thoughts are with Lamar on the ground in this one if he runs as much.
You know, it's funny because you look at the game and say, okay, the Raiders didn't look great last week, but I got a sneaky suspicion like they can hang around that 8.5 because sometimes we do get Ravens games that don't make much sense in the first half. How the Ravens down? I could see a similar scenario. Do I think the Ravens win the game? Yes, I do at the 8.5. I don't trust it that high. 7.5's early in the week, 8.5's now. You're expecting a boat race, and I don't know if that's going to be the case because you got some talent on Las Vegas. But if you are flipping over, do you say Indianapolis the other side?
I'll be honest with you, I'm still stuck on him saying that.
What?
I saw you.
Yeah, you know what?
Am I talking about the wrong game?
Both tackles are out. We're going to run it 90 times in this game. Everybody knows it. We'll just concede the victory. I mean, come on.
The answer back was fantastic. It was like, slow it down. I disagree. You got to actually get more plays in it.
Why is that laughable? I just don't understand. If you're thinking about it, right, Jacksonville's thinking about it, right? So why would you go into the game plan like that?
The initial pause back was like, okay, now it's going to be hard to throw, so stick with the run
game.
And
because
your answer was, no, I think we should actually
Yeah.
pass it more now because the run game won't be there.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
It's easier to run block.
No, it's easier to run block, but again, you're predictable. If you have no passing attack and you're going to go and both tackles are hurt, you know what? We're going to run it 3rd and 8 every drive. We'll get thrown out.
Last week, they threw the ball 45 times. How'd that go?
But again, they trailed with the turnovers. You
want them to come out
more
aggressive.
Yes.
You want to come out and have more turnovers.
All right, we'll see how they come out. 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
All of a sudden.
And again,
Bo Schembechler 2.0. Here we go.
And I'll make this very clear. It's not that your breakdown's laughable. It's that you take any news and any question and spin it directly to where the action is. Hey, both tackles are out. Great for my over Watson.
Yeah. No. I try to look at it. How will they attack in regards to this match? Everybody's thinking rushing. I disagree. I think they come out and they utilized Deshaun Watson to get him in tempo, and maybe that could lead to overs. I just look at it in a different mindset.
You were banking on the tackles being out.
Not banking on it. I'm saying now that they're out, they have to adjust.
All right.
How do they adjust? They're not just going to go in cookie cutter. Then they might as well not play the game.
Ravens, one of your favorite bets of the board.
It is. I think the Raiders keep it close. Gardner Minshew, gutty quarterback. Got this win last year in overtime over Lamar with Indianapolis. Again, back-to-back road games. I like Zamir White today over the 46.5.
Yeah.
I love Lamar. I love this team in regards to what they have from a foundation. They need better talent at the wideout position. You cannot have Isaiah Likely just leading the team in receptions and yards each and every game. It's not going to be consistent. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. Give me the Raiders to potentially keep it into the fourth quarter and cover.
You know, I saw this number initially. I said, man, this is going to be a good spot. You can catch over a touchdown. Ravens will probably, they've not been great as big favorites. Here's the issue. Antonio Pierce is the worst coach in the NFL, probably. And I ultimately knew why they had to bring him back. I mean, this guy's atrocious. I mean, last week on a 4th and 1 at the 14-yard line of the Chargers, let's kick a field goal. Let's take our points. All right, what year is it? Then a 4th and 1 at the Chargers' 41-yard line. He goes, we should probably punt. It cost them a win probability to 10%. You think that's nerdy analytics? Guess what? That's what world we live in. Antonio Pierce shouldn't even be able to make the bus of this game. And now he goes up against Harbaugh with extra rest. I can only look Ravens in this game. The Ravens are the wheel public play. The sharp side is the Raiders. Ugly bet. Enjoy the mud. I would only bet the Ravens in this one.
Well, I feel a little more confident.
Good.
Yeah, that's it.
Good.
It could be a wheel play.
Good.
It could be a wheel play today.
And
we'll
now
see.
listen, I'll keep it on the radar. See who else joins you on that pick. Colts, Packers. Look, we've been dancing around this game all day. If I don't want to bet the side in this game, I like Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown plus 120. I mean, that's really where I'm confident in this matchup. He's got a 6-game touchdown streak that I think he can extend here easily against a team that allowed Saquon Barkley to become the Offensive Player of the Year favorite in one performance. But if you made me bet this game, I have to fade Malik Willis, who does not look like an NFL-level quarterback, Donnie, in any capacity.
We can't outsmart ourselves. That's rule number one. Whenever you want to handicap a game, whenever you're trying to attack a side, you take a look and say to yourself, let's keep it simple here. Anthony Richardson, yes. You see the guy last week, 9 completions, but some were some of the best completions you ever see. We know there's going to be inaccuracy, but still, you could say he's a starting quarterback in this league. There's a lot of potential there. Malik Willis went from the best pro day we've ever saw, who'll go top 2, to going to the 3rd round, now apparently can't play at all. And then you have a team like the Green Bay Packers that makes a trade for him, then goes, now we got to start this kid, and we're still going to be probably looking around. You look at the line itself. Green Bay is not getting 3.5, 6.5, 7.5 points where you say, manage about, keep it close. You're looking at a 2.5 point number for Indianapolis where you're telling yourself, Green Bay has to win this game. If Jordan Love was in this game, you would love Green Bay. And, of course, Green Bay would be laying the points, not getting the points. It's simple for me. There is no way out there you can take Malik Willis and just say, I like the head coach, Matt LaFleur, because I do. They have talent around him. I understand that. But it takes a quarterback to get them the football. I don't trust him to get them the football, guys.
I like Green Bay here. I think it's a lower scoring game. If Jordan Love plays in this is probably, 45.5? 46 in regards to the total.
Oh, yeah.
41.5 total. I think it's a dead under. I think it's a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs. His number today is very low, 64.5. I think he could break out. You saw the success that he had against Philadelphia. And again, I still like Jonathan Taylor as well. I think both teams will look to run the football. This is a manageable game for the Colts on the road. They feel like they can win it. Let's be conservative, not turn the football over. That's why I lean to the under. But I'll say this, if you're going to back Malik Willis in any capacity, 29.5 in terms of the RPO rush, that's a look as well, I think.
Yeah, I get it. I just can't.
He's only started 3 games. I think I've bet him every game he's ever started in terms of props because they all seem so low. I cannot
What do you think
involved.
they do with him? Like, honestly, what is the game plan for the Green? I know you said, like, run the ball, but
Wildcat,
do we let him let it rip?
Wildcat.
Or do we just say we're going to hold on to the reins until it's the fourth quarter and maybe we have a chance to win?
We mentioned the inactive reports. And Jaden Reed's playing. If there's a rushing number on Reed, I would.
I was just going to say
That's
that.
a good point.
I would look that way
like
because they're going to kind of have to get him involved a little bit.
We're looking for some points up next, some low totals, perhaps some juice. We'll answer that on the other side.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
Cooking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this.
All right, let's find some juice here. Pro football today. At some point, this may be called party over. There's got to be points out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Low totals, high totals. It doesn't really matter. All you need is potentially your starting left tackle and right tackle to miss this game, and that's really all of a sudden then when things can open
Brings the
up.
party.
Let's start with the lowest of the low. That's Broncos Steelers. Bo Nix versus Justin Fields, 36.5. Pittsburgh pulls off the upset. They're now road favorites at the Mile High DRS. Points?
No points here. And you saw the opening line, 41 in that range. Now we're down to 36.5. If you are Mike Tomlin, say what you want. Mike Tomlin never looks towards the future. The reason I bring that up is usually you'd say to yourself and say, okay, let's score. Let's get after it. Let's see what my quarterback has. He goes, no. If we can win this game 14-13, that's what we're going to do. That's the way. Is anybody going to open it up in this game? I don't think so.
I think Justin Fields might open it up a little, maybe 175, 200 in that area in regards to passing. I still think he can make plays with his legs. He had 50 yards last week. I think he's live today to score a touchdown. I'm with Donnie, though. I would go under because I think Pittsburgh can get to 20. But what is Denver going to give you in regards to their offensive output? 10, 13 at the most? I mean, I would be shocked if they got that.
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out with Denver because they have a desire to throw the ball. And sometimes that's half the battle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in all seriousness, right, Lisi? Like half the times you bet these totals, you're looking for teams to go up tempo
turnovers.
and throw the football, right?
Right.
That's what they were doing last week. They threw the football more in the first half than they did in the second half of that game against Seattle, where they were trailing for a lot of the second half. I imagine for Bo Nix at home,
second week game under his belt. It has to be better. It has to be better. That's not a slight to the Pittsburgh defense, who I think is arguably the best in football. But at Seattle is obviously an incredibly tough spot to start. There's a specific matchup in this game that has left me here. How about Patriots Seahawks, the big upset last week? I just mentioned Seattle beating the Denver Broncos. You're getting a 3.5 point.
Denver to 99 yards on the ground, only 4 yards per carry. That's long third down situations for Jacoby Brissett. And quite honestly, Seattle has a better passing attack than Cincinnati did last week, right? So heading into this matchup, you got to believe Geno puts the pressure on Jacoby Brissett. Again, I would lean to the under here.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker's down in this game, so Charbonnet is going to be a big player in that backfield. We'll see how it turns out. But also from last week, I love the way New England played, guys, but also, if New England gets down 7-0, is that just like insurmountable for them? Because they played the perfect game last week, had that double-digit lead. They could hand the football off and play that well. And again, you're playing, as Joe said, a better offense. Now, in 3 to 4 weeks, maybe Cincinnati is the better offense, but they weren't at that point. You have guys that can attack and get downfield. I want to see if Seattle can put the pressure on the New England Patriots. But 3.5 is a big number. It really is a big number, which means, like, if New England plays that type of performance they did last week, this is going to be a really low-scoring game and just grind. Because Jacoby, they're not going to open it up with Jacoby Brissett at any time this year.
Right. Gerard Mayo, Coach of the Year, if he starts 2-0, right? 4.5 win total. Oh, Kraft going, what are you doing? We're trying to get it.
Told you.
I like New England a lot today at plus 3.5.
I can't hate on it.
The linebacker room for Seattle's all banged up. Nwoshu's out. The other two, Baker, they're all kinds of banged up in terms of the linebacker room, which means Ramondre Stevenson's going to have room to run. And I think Ken Walker being out, Ken Walker is better than Zach Charbonnet.
He is.
It's simple as that, which means that it'll be tougher to put this team away. On the road, getting the hook, I think it's absolutely worth it. I'll tell you a game I expect points in. Panthers, Chargers. 38.5,
wow.
Not too low for me. Here's the story. I like the Chargers this season. I think their defense can be good, but they got bailed out last week by Antonio Pierce being the worst coach in the National Football League. Let's call it what it is. Raiders' last 5 drives all went into Charger territory. All they could show for it was 3 points due to those atrocious 4th and 1 kicking decisions that they made. The Panthers' offense has to be better. It has to be better in this football game here. I think it will. Let's not forget, Herbert is still a star-level quarterback. I think they can move the ball. I'm looking for points in this game.
I'm with you. You sold me. See, I knew you loved me. I knew you loved me. The reason why I lean to the over out of this group in regards to Carolina, Donnie, is because you really need to make an assessment about Bryce Young. You really need to know, is this the franchise guy? Had a pitiful performance in game 1. All right, it was a road game, above-average defense. And maybe he's still getting acclimated in regards to the new scheme with Dave Canales. Let's air it out in game number 2, and let's see if Bryce Young is the guy. If he's not, then now you have a contingency plan potentially. All right, we all off season now. Next year, we need a quarterback.
You're right. It's almost like what the goal is. And we just got done talking about that Pittsburgh Steelers-Denver game. The goal for the Pittsburgh Steelers is make some plays with your feet on offense for your quarterback. Hopefully we win. That can't be the same thing that the Denver Broncos are talking about, right, Joe? Because, Bo Nix, you want to find out, hey, you're going against a good defense. I'm going to put you in some tough spots. Let's see if you can succeed. So I believe that Joe's on the right path here with Bryce Young. You know what? It's not about being conservative, winning 6-3. We got to find out if we have a franchise guy. And there is something to that. But if I'm going to the gas station, I'm getting all diesel fuel today on the Chargers, pounding the rock and pounding the rock and pounding the rock, using that big physical offensive line, throw a fullback out there, J.K. Dobbins, 15-plus carries, finds pay dirt, and they just burn that clock.
What do you expect in Lisi in this game between the Commanders and the Giants? Points?
This is a tough one. I don't know. But, the way New York got sliced and diced by Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson, I think actually Washington's going to put up some points. This is my favorite out of all the group. It could be a party over today, and I think Jaden Daniels breaks out, 225 plus. McLaurin hits pay dirt at plus 240, and Jones has to open it up as well. I mean, where are the Giants going? Keep an eye out for Wan'Dale Robinson. Got over his total. I think that continues as well.
I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to have a good game. And maybe a good game for him is throwing 1 touchdown pass, which I think he can do. And also, you saw yesterday with Notre Dame, little Riley Leonard struggling out there to start the week before. 3 rushing touchdowns. Riley Leonard, Daniel Jones, same type of quarterback right here. Look at this.
You made him sick with that. You made him sick with that.
Look at the scales.
Donnie, you made him sick.
Leonard, Daniel Jones.
That's not right.
I never saw him twice in the same place.
That's not
Never saw him same time.
You win the Marcus Swayman battle. You can't be associating Daniel Jones with the Notre Dame program. We can't be doing that.
We're battling right here at SportsGrid live on a Sunday morning.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this.
Welcome back in. Live on SportsGrid. We're here with you on a Sunday morning. It's prop time. It's time for the Sunday Morning Crunch. All right, Lisi Rightside and Walsh here with you. Looking for some props here. A mixed bag of results last week. DRS certainly handled his business 3-0. 2-1 for Joe Lisi. Don't ask me what I went. I went 1-2. It's all right. We still had a win on the board.
Which guy won, though? Do you remember? Remember how she got the dubstep for you? No.
Biggest progression from week 1 to week 2, so you got a shot this week.
Could be a breakout.
Could be a breakout.
I like that actually. That's the nicest thing you said to me all show.
Sacrifice Saturday for Sunday.
Easy.
Even better.
Wow.
I was going to
yesterday.
Sacrifice Saturday yesterday. So check Panther. Go ahead, Lisi. Go ahead.
All right. So we talk about the late game, Arizona and L.A. I know about the offensive line issues for the L.A. Rams. Kyren Williams and that rushing attack were basically held in check last week on the road. Even though they're down offensive line, and I think they go back to basics. Kyren Williams over 75.5. I think he can get to 80, 90 plus today, and I do like the Rams to potentially pull this game out as a 1.5-point dog. So give me Kyren Williams. I talked about the Raiders. I think they'll be live. I think Gardner Minshew will eat. I think they open up the passing game with Devontae Adams and even those wide receivers to open up the running game later in this matchup. I like Zamir White. He had a 51.5 last week, only had 44 yards. 46.5 today. I like him to be utilized in the rushing attack. 60, maybe 70 yards on the ground. And then Mike Evans. Breakout performance last week, touchdown. We talk about him going up against the secondary of Detroit. Last year in the playoffs, he had a big second half. 68.5 is his total. We talk about Mayfield, 289 last week against Washington. If they're playing from behind, he's going to eat 68.5. Could be a 100-yard day for Mike Evans, guys.
Yeah, I'm looking for a big day from Mike Evans, too, because I think there's going to be a lot of passing in that dome, and Joe is right. You're going to look at those targets in the end zone, targets downfield. Mike Evans, certainly. I mean, what is it, 10 straight years of 1,000 yards?
Unbelievable.
Already on a pace here, I guess, to get another 1,000.
And I did his stats. He only had 200-yard games in like the first 9 or 10 games last year. He's starting fast, which is a good sign.
Yeah, the touchdowns are incredible. I watch a lot of Bucs football, and Mike Evans is just a superstar. And look, he and Baker have as good a 1-2 punch as any quarterback wide receiver in this league. And just in terms of the chemistry, you can just tell that those guys love playing football together. Go ahead, Donnie.
Yeah, I'll go with my 3. Last week was a really good week here. Went 3-0. Now, granted, you always like to say you want to win one more game than you lose. 2-1 certainly are the expectations. 3-0 the perfection. We like to see it. Let's see if we can do it again this week. Jamison Williams over 44.5 receiving yards for the Detroit Lions. We've been waiting on this guy to break out and play the football that we saw him play at Alabama. Had a sensational week last week. Now, some people will say, and rightfully so, Donnie saw him creep up there on the injury report, had limited practices all week long. He's been cleared to play today. And also, getting some of those videos from practice. Understand what limited means. It means you're not doing all of the things in practice you need to be a full 100 participant. But some of the clips that I did see looks like that ankle is just fine. And also, guys, we're not fighting for 99.5 yards. It's 44.5. You can secure that before the half. I think there's a lot of passing. He should be involved in it. And even if he is limited, he's not going to be in on the running plays, guys. He's going to be in on the passing plays. So if it's a limited snaps, I want those to be passing snaps, and he should get that. Number 2, C.J. Stroud, over 1.5 touchdown passes. You guys know I love my touchdown passing props. If we are looking at a home game tonight for the Houston Texans going up against the Chicago Bears defense, I'm not buying the Bears defense just yet. And quite frankly, I don't care how good your defense is. C.J. Stroud's going to be throwing the football. Those elite wide receivers, keep an eye out on again. Stephon Diggs, I think, cracks another touchdown today, but 2 touchdown passes. No reason to believe that can't happen. Minus 138, I'll pay that price point. Last one, Lions-Bucks over. This is 2 teams over 3.5 touchdown passes at a minus 120 price. If I told you I think we're going to get scoring, it's in the 50s here. The way you are going to be able to attack the defense on the Detroit Lions is through the air. The way you're going to be able to take a banged-up Bucs defense in that secondary is through the air. No reason to believe that we can't get 4 combined touchdown passing. Keep in mind, that's not 2 and 2 from each side, 3 and 1. One guy can get 4 touchdowns, the other guy can get 0. You still cover that. And also, the thing I like about this too, Kevin, on injury, it doesn't say Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff. You get whatever. If it's a quarterback that throws it, a fullback or a halfback, boom, we're in. I like it.
All right, in the mix there. I'll run through them quick here for the people. DJ Moore over 5.5 receptions at plus 105. Donnie's telling me Roma Dunze is going to play. I don't know.
Decoy.
Listen, Keenan Allen, they can play if they need to. DJ Moore is going to be able to get his in this game. They could be trailing. More attempts. Had 8 targets last week. I think it's double digits for DJ Moore here. He'll bring in 6 of them. CeeDee Lamb, my favorite, 89.5 receiving yards. Last week, 10 targets. Very rarely do you see CeeDee Lamb get that type of workload and not blast through numbers. Last season, when he had at least 10 targets in a game, he averaged over 130 yards per game on that type of a workload. And then Deebo Samuel, 23.5 rushing yards, 8 carries last week. Deebo Samuel, as long as he gets 5 carries, he's into the 30s for his rushing yards in this one. We've got the Pro Football Insider and Adam Kaplan up next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was again! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared.